how is James Harden going to end up fitting in Brooklyn? Because everybody takes a look at this on paper and says, championship, instant championship. If they don't win a championship, it's a bust. I'm saying that. I mean, I'll take a look on paper and say that. But really, it does, winning a championship, Brooklyn winning a championship doesn't fall on James Harden. It falls on Kyrie Irving. The Nets have no bench. I mean, Joe Harris is probably your best bench player if you're not already starting somebody like Joe Harris, which I think you should be. Of course, the Nets losing Spencer Dinwiddie, so that's their next best bench player. They send away Jarrett Allen, Karis LeVert. Those by themselves, that is a bench to be reckoned with. They don't have those players anymore, so they have no bench. They've got no defense apart from DeAndre Jordan. They've got no cap space, and they've got no draft picks. If there was ever a picture in the NBA dictionary of somebody going all in, it would be a picture of Sean Marks signing the trade deal for James Harden, pushing all of his poker chips into the table here. So now it just relies on Kyrie. The team will only win a championship if Kyrie stops being Kyrie and stops singing Kumbaya in his New York City apartment with a flower hat on. If Kyrie stops being Kyrie, this team's going to win a championship. Now, of course, when I say if Kyrie stops being Kyrie, I'm talking about the personal side to Kyrie Irving, the guy that's being a bit of a social media nuisance, the guy that's not being good publicly for the team, even though he's a fantastic superstar of a basketball player. He's probably the best ball handler in the NBA when he's on the court. Which leads me to my next question, which is, how are the Nets going to manage James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving? Because out of all the big threes that have formed in the past decade, even the big three in Miami, there's always one person that has sacrificed. It was Chris Bosh in Miami. Kevin Durant with the Warriors, he sacrificed. And even, I just don't know who is going to sacrifice on this team. I don't think it's going to be Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant's already been there, done that. I think Kevin Durant wants his own team. And the Nets, still, even with the acquisition of James Harden, is Kevin Durant's team. It's not going to be Kevin Durant. James Harden is all about me. He doesn't, he's not a team player. Of course, he averages great assist numbers, but generally that also goes with having to score 40 points a night. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a culture shock for him to go and not get as many touches. The person that's going to have to sacrifice is going to have to be Kyrie Irving. And I don't know if Kyrie Irving is really up to that challenge again. He had to sacrifice and be the second man in Cleveland. He had to be the second man really in Boston, because he wasn't the leader that he was supposed to be in Boston. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown ended up being the vocal leaders of that team and not Kyrie Irving. It's going to be really, really difficult for the Nets to try and figure this out. I genuinely see a world, just thinking about it, I genuinely see a world in which we are at this date, a year from now, and the Nets still haven't won a championship because they could not figure it out. This is the first big three that has formed in this era of super teams in which you say, wow, there really is only one ball. Like, I hate that saying, there's only one ball. You'll need to share the ball, but it's genuinely like you have three major ball handlers on this team. Now, Kevin Durant doesn't really need to be the ball handler. I think with all of his experience in Golden State, he has developed such a strong off-ball game that he can play off-ball and still get his no matter what without isolation. So Kevin Durant is fine. Like, out of all the question marks I have on the Nets now that James Harden is there, Kevin Durant is the least questionable. I think he's going to be fine. But I really question how the Nets are going to be able to make this work. Not for a lack of talent, but just for a lack of assets. and a lack of circumstance. Steve Nash, first-time head coach. Will he be able to handle having 3 superstars on a team like this? It's difficult for a veteran head coach to do that, never mind a rookie head coach. This team is not going to win a championship unless Kyrie stops being Kyrie. You can't do this without Kyrie Irving. And it's kind of sucky for the Nets that they have to rely on somebody that has been unreliable ever since they acquired him. But, yeah, I mean, is this team talented enough to win a championship with just Harden and Durant? Yes, but with time. I think if you're winning a championship in Brooklyn with just Harden and Durant, it would happen next year. But if you're wanting to win this year, like everybody now predicts that you need to, Kyrie Irving needs to stop being Kyrie Irving, the personality, and needs to start being Kyrie Irving, the best point guard in the league type of Kyrie Irving. Now, maybe saying best point guard in the league is probably a little bit too much. I think Stephen Curry is probably the better point guard in the league, but I guess the best ball handler, the best true point guard as in terms of dribble, ankle breaker, pick and roll, yada yada. I think Kyrie Irving is better. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this segment from the Hard-Headed Sports Podcast. If you're interested in watching more highlights from the show as they come out after the show's completion, you should definitely hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell to turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. If you're interested in listening to the whole show in its entirety, you can listen to the show on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. Again, thank you so much for watching the show. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will see you all very soon.